And thank you so much for joining us today. This is a talk about connecting beyond boundaries. There are several international projects connected with Karachi Art Summit. One has been displayed yesterday at National Museum in the opening of it, which was a project by Lichty, and that's Draw the Karachi Internet. And there will be another project displayed at Commune Artist Colony on 26th March by Joseph Delipe in the box. So here we have Stefan Winkler, and we are very grateful of Goethe Institute for hosting and providing this venue for us. Stefan is the director of Goethe Institute, and he would like to share some ideas and some possibilities of artwork.
Hello, thank you very much, Mehreen. Can have the first. A very warm welcome at the Goethe Institute, Pakistan in Karachi. The Goethe Institute is the National Cultural Institute of Germany, existing in more than 80 countries worldwide. But in Pakistan, it is existing since 60 years. We have our 60 years anniversary this year. In Lahore, we have the Anna-Marie Schimmel House, a German-Pakistani friendship society that we are collaborating very close with. I'm very much welcoming the Karachi Art Summit, and I'm happy that we can be a part of it. I'm now here since 1 year and 9 months here in Karachi, and I'm really impressed by the cultural and arts scene of this vibrant city. The number of active galleries, arts institutions like the Indus Valley School of Arts and Architecture, the National Academy of Performing Arts, Vassal Artists Collective, the Arts Council, the second floor, and so on, just to name a few of them. The activities in arts especially will result in, Pakistan will result in 2 biennials. Karachi will have in autumn the first biennial, and Lahore next year. So a lot of things are going on in arts, and we as a Goethe Institute are happy to be able to partner up with all these institutions, with the Lahore Biennial Foundation, the Karachi Biennial Trust, the Karachi Arts Summit. Connecting beyond boundaries is also our aim, the title of our discussion today. Last year, we were engaged in a huge project called Urbanities, Art and Public Space in Pakistan. That consisted of workshops, artists' residencies, and a symposium, City in Context, in collaboration with the Lahore Biennial Foundation, Vassal in Karachi, and other partners. In that project, we connected artists, urban planners, researchers, and practitioners together. For example, and this is a photo you can see, the German-Spanish urban collective Intelligencias Colectivas, in English, collective intelligence. They work always with local knowledge. Next picture, please. Here you see their construction on the Pakistan chalk. They go to the local craftspeople, they discover local knowledge that might not be acknowledged nowadays, and they use it together with the craftspeople in a new context. Here they installed a permanent structure on Pakistan chalk in the restoration process led by Mavi Mazhar. Next picture. Here you see the construction. And this construction can be used by the neighborhood, and it is used by the neighborhood for meeting, chatting, relaxing, playing. Next one, please. Here you see how they discovered local craftspeople and got engaged with them and discussed with them, and used their knowledge to connect and to install the structure. Next, please. Here you see how they use this steel construction, and also you will see that there is another structure on top of it where the light is. And this is exactly the structure that is used here for the local traditional beds. that are called Chahor Bay, right? Chao Bay, okay. So they reuse this technology in a completely different context, and you see it's very beautiful. So, conclusion here, connecting with local knowledge, connecting with local neighborhoods. Next, please. Another project in the framework of urbanities was Miro Kremer's project, Courts of Desire. He was the artist in residence from Munich at Basel in Karachi. His project was based on the horrible fire of the Baldia textile factory that resulted in 260 deaths. Main customer of this factory was a German company that apparently did not care at all about working conditions and safety measures. Miro, as a fashion and social designer, is interested in the economic and social conditions of textile production. Here you see him in front of the now closed Baldia factory with families of the victims. Next picture, please. He developed a series of flags as a textile installation together with students of IBS and ICRA University North Campus to be installed in public interventions in 5 different places in Karachi. Here you see his installation at the campus of the ICRA University, the North Campus. Next, please. Yeah, Court of Desires is the title of his project, and you see the flags in the background. Next. Here the installation at the IBS, together with the projection. Next. And here, in a flash mob style, we did the installation within a few minutes at the Empress Market. Next. So that is the other artist. So here, conclusion is connecting with the concerned people in Karachi. The other artist in residence was Honi Ryan, an Australian artist based in Berlin. And she was working in Lahore, where she researched the complexities of being a body in public space in Pakistan through walking practice. She mounted silent group walks, which were led by local women and marked with trails of marble dust. Next, please. Here you see the marble dust that marked the trails through the city. Next, please. A bird view. So on the top you see the group walking. They all used white clothes. That it's clear that this is a group walking together. And you see the marble dust trail. Next, please. Another bird view. Next. So this is another project. Just to conclude that, she also worked collaboratively with local architects to implement a large-scale public installation of a 1,200-foot temporary footpath in a central part of the city. I don't have a photo of that yet, now, unfortunately. But interestingly, this project implemented a change in government urban planning policy to include functioning footpaths in the surrounding area. So after her project of this temporary footpath, some government authorities got interested that we would like to have this footpath in that neighborhood. So here we have connecting with the population and with local authorities. And as a last example, this project is a German-Pakistani artist collaboration between Karachi-based artist Shahana Rajani and Berlin-based artist Sonja Schönberger. They developed together an audio walk with the title, I Would Always Dream of My House, Stories of Displacement. This audio walk was based on memories of forced migration and being a refugee, the issue of loss and leaving a home, and the consequences that these events have for the individual as well as for future generations in partition times in the region and after World War II in Europe. The audio walk took place simultaneously in Karachi and in Berlin. Here in Karachi, as you can see, in the garden of the Mazar-e Quaid. In the audio walk, the Pakistani and German displacement stories were juxtaposed and became audible. Despite the historical and regional differences, the exchanging and sharing of experiences and memories was an attempt to speak about the similarities we find in humankind. For this project, people were interviewed, you still have these memories, and their stories were collected. And our empathy is often reserved for those whom we feel close and related to. The attempt to establish ties with the present by looking into the past in two places of the world is attended by the hope that grief and comfort will be possible across borders, connecting people across borders. So these are three examples, four examples of how projects and arts are connecting beyond borders. And just a last note, because we have later on the screening of the video films, we will also start very soon with a series of workshops for young filmmakers, which is also funded by the Prince Claus Fund from the Netherlands, where we also target young emergent filmmakers that they will be able to pitch their projects on an international level. Film talents, emergent voices from Pakistan. Yeah, this was my conclusion, and yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Stefan, for being here. Next is Patrick is doing a social media-based project called Draw the Karachi Internet. And Patrick Lichty is an artist, a professor from the US, and he's currently living in Dubai. The Draw the Karachi Internet is a group on social media, and it was executed as an installation yesterday at National Museum, and I assigned my students to execute the installations at the opening. So this was the execution. So we printed different memes, and we displayed it as kind of connecting, and we displayed it in the form of storyboard, because the idea was about having a picture of social media, and his whole concept was about that every city has a different photo of social media, Facebook and Twitter, whatever we are going through. It was based on current affairs. So we are still doing this project, we are carrying it forward, and it's on Facebook as well. I would like you to join this group and then share as much as you can. This is the Facebook group. So he has been sharing on his own, and then I shared it, and some people contributed. They have been contributing. He has sent us a video to be played here. Yeah, this is Patrick.
And thanks for having me here at the Karachi Art Summit, and I'd like to say a few words about my piece in the summit and online called Draw the Karachi Internet. And in starting, I'd like to say that talking to you, even by video, here on YouTube, is the result of a really long, strange chain of events. In many ways, I'm as much a networked individual as a physical one. I've been on the net since 1983, and I've got thousands of friends across this global network. One's someone you know, Yasir, and we've more or less known about or known each other since 2003, when I started doing this online magazine with the digital curator of the Whitney Museum of American Art, Christian Paul, called Intelligent Agent. I did that for about 10 years. Actually, it was 2002 to 2013. And that's how we met. However, we started talking again a couple years ago when when I moved to Sharjah, actually, when I was at American University of Sharjah, and about the possibility of an art summit here. And when that started becoming a reality, Nasir introduced me to your fantastic curator, Mehreen, Hashmi, and we started this conversation that questioned this existential moment in network culture and who we are in the net, and even what this internet thing is. So that's the reason why I thought that a relational post-internet intervention in Karachi in the spirit of Hanzo Workover's Do It project made a lot of sense to me. So this contemporary notion of post-internet, and I look at this term in this unhyphenated, lowercase sort of handle that culture uses to describe a set of effects rather than a description in itself. I mean, one example is new media, something that describes practices around computational media and its production. I mean, net art is another good handle for that too, to describe internet art-based interventions on the internet in the 1990s. Another one is the new objectivity, the Neue Sachlichkeit, that happened in Germany in the 1920s. I mean, it's still called new, right? And we can say this for new media, but I mean, are all these things new? Maybe in terms of, relative to Gutenberg, yes, but, really, these are terms that we grasp culture with. And, a lot of people do this. Same happens with the manner in which a lot of my colleagues, including Marissa Olson, who is frequently ascribed for having coined the term post-internet, uses this sort of lowercase title for, this cultural moment that we live in that exists after the rise of the internet as a mass medium. But however, I think this particular term, as it relates to the genre of contemporary art, describes a culture that's perhaps after the rise of social media, blogging, and the like, rather than the invention of the World Wide Web in the early 90s, or the key innovations that the internet is based on 1972 as a way to maintain communications in the event of nuclear attack. So the way I make these distinctions is not fighting for one idea or another, but to describe certain points in time as they relate to culture. For example, the notion of post-internet, for me, describes the period after the emergence of social media where the internet became, and I use this kind of Dubai term, the mall of the world. It refers to a John Hughes-like mall rat sort of moment in the 1980s where kids, like me in the Midwest, would hang out at the mall. But now, everybody hangs out at the mall. And maybe Facebook is kind of like the mall. And I live in the land of the mall. So to me, thinking about a somewhat youth-driven, mall-like environment in cyberspace resonates with me and bears a great metaphor for the world right now. And how we can frame a relational project in which we can think about it, like draw the Karachi internet. So this is why, when I sent the first image to the group for Draw the Karachi internet on Facebook, I used the image of the billboard that hailed Mark Zuckerberg for giving Pakistan free internet. I mean, for me, this was kind of weird, because in the US, and particularly Chicago, where I'm from, Facebook is sort of free. I mean, except for the fact that we basically work for them when we're online and generate their ad revenue. However, that being said, the fact that Facebook allows some Pakistani service providers to give free airtime strikes me kind of strange, but it isn't really any surprise. I mean, of course, handheld bandwidth is precious in various parts of the world, and in Southeast Asia, landlines are less common than cell towers. But on the other hand, the free Facebook, to me, is another form of re-emergent colonialism. I mean, he comes from America, the land that basically made the foundation